What's up, guys? It is Nick with Nick's Topics, back with the third topic video regarding the topic, what if Shane wasn't killed by Rick? Last time, we left off with the entrance of Negan. So now let's continue the story. We left off with the entrance of Negan, Tara becoming a savior, Carol and Morgan being there. Next, we get Negan giving the big speech about how Rick killed his men, etc., etc. And then he goes to decide who gets the honors of being Lucilled. And in this story, the first one to get Lucilled is Merle. Yes, Merle actually lived to season 7. He lived much longer than he did in the original. He played a good part. Definitely changed a lot. Merle gets to be the first one to get Lucilled. Daryl, of course, punches, except way, way harder, because it was his frickin' brother. But the Saviors, together, and Tara have to put him down, like, with a lot much more effort. Because of Daryl's punch, the next one to get Lucilled is Shane. Yes, Shane dies here. Now, you guys might be wondering, Nick, why are you killing off the characters that were put into the series and not the originals? Well, I'll get to that. It's character progression. Anyway, this leaves Rick pretty much in a state of shock, disbelief, and anger. He might have had his things with Shane and never truly liked Merle, but they were both valuable friends. Shane was his best friend, and he had just watched him die. Rick charges at Negan with utter frustration and rage, but that doesn't go down so well. And because of this, Morgan dies next. Because let's be honest, if Morgan was there, if Carol and Morgan were there, Morgan would likely die, and if Rick or someone else had retaliated just originally a second time, someone else would have died. After Morgan's killed, Rick and Daryl are both taken as prisoners. This also means that Abraham, who was meant to die in the original, and Glenn both survive, which is definitely character progression. So Glenn goes with Maggie to take her to the hilltop, while the rest of the group goes back to Alexandria to break the news to Gabriel and the rest of the crew. With his father captured and his pretty much father Shane killed, this leaves Carl much more in a desperate mood for revenge. He isn't going to be the one to immediately go for peace like in the original. Also, he still has 2 eyes. So he immediately tries to go about making a plan. He basically becomes the group's leader. He immediately goes about to make a plan to get his father back and kill Negan. But before they can go the separate ways to all the other locations, they still have to deal with Negan coming early to get the stuff the first time from Alexandria. Afterwards, after Negan leaves, Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita all go to the kingdom to try and get their warriors. And they meet up with Ezekiel and Shiva. They all see the bizarreness in Ezekiel playing a little make-believe king, but tell him all about Rick and Daryl getting captured and 3 of their friends dying. In the original, Ezekiel was more hesitant to go about fighting the Saviors, but after hearing about friends being captured and 3 of them being brutally murdered, he is more obliged to help. Meanwhile, Sasha goes with Father Gabriel to the junkyard where they meet Jadis and the scavengers. They are at first met with resistance, but after Gabriel and Sasha break down the story, this still doesn't persuade them. Jadis wants assurance that they will get a bunch of guns out of it. Gabriel promises that after the Savior's defeat, they can have all of their guns and then some. Jadis agrees to this, and so do all the scavengers, so they're on board too. And last but not least, Carol, paired up with Jesus, they go to Oceanside and meet up with Tanya and Cindy and tell them all about what transpired. Natanya, of course, is stubborn like in the original, but Cindy trusts Carol and Jesus' word, and the warriors are in. With the kingdom, most of the hilltop, Alexandria, the junkyard, and Oceanside all ganged up with Carl. Carl goes about making a plan to rescue his father and Daryl before they begin the attack on the Saviors. But they don't know how to proceed. Jesus then recommends that he will go and rescue the two of them. Right whenever he gives a shout-out signal, the rest of the entire group will bombard the sanctuary. Carl agrees to this, and the entire whole community group goes to the sanctuary to fight. At the sanctuary, Rick, in a separate part, along with Daryl, are being put to work, when suddenly, everyone hears gunshots and bombs ringing about the sanctuary. Rick and Daryl being rescued in the meantime while the place is being bombarded, but an all battle rages out. Simon, along with Tara and pretty much all the Saviors, are wiped out. Meanwhile, Rick finds Negan and an all-out battle begins. Rick pretty much dominating over Negan in some factors because of how angry he is. What with the death of the man who pretty much saved his life, meaning Morgan, and his best friend Shane, both perishing before his very eyes. The battle seems somewhat even when Daryl cuts in with his crossbow, shooting Negan straight in the neck, completely unable to defend himself. Carl seeing his opportunity as well, and headshotting Negan. So, at this point, Negan is done in the story. And with Negan being dead, that will change a lot. Like, a lot. And this is like, probably season 8 by now or something? Anyway, with Negan dead, I also forgot to mention, Carl and Enid still get together, but Enid, pretty much the same stuff goes down with Enid, basically. They are going to have a much more significant relationship in the future, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, it pretty much ends with the bargain that Carl had made with the scavengers, and Rick once again taking over the leadership of the group, and them having to give the scavengers guns, and pretty much everyone being friends. No one really died in the battle because everyone of Rick's group, or Carl's at the time, was outside of the sanctuary, and all the others were pretty much inside. So it was pretty much a massacre. But with Negan dead, that changes a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, a bit shorter than the rest, but this pretty much covers the Savior arc. Next episode, I'm going to be covering, like, the bridge topic and the Whisperers. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys next Tuesday for part 4, possibly one of the last parts. See you guys next time.